So original Otis equipment from the late 1920s. We call these slate control systems with mechanical contacts. This one does not get utilized all that much in the building, but if we get a chance to see it run, you're likely going to see sparks fly. It's pretty cool. You can see all the levers move. But that was technology back in the 20s. Fast forward over to our passenger cars, so we have controllers here. These are called CEC Swift Futura controllers. These were done as part of a modernization in 1999, I believe. And part of that modernization, or what gets triggered by a mod, is anytime you replace the control system, you end up having to modernize the elevator, which means everything's got to be brought up to current code. So these are our control systems, wildly obsolete now, very difficult for troubleshooting, very difficult to get parts for these anymore. You really have to have some sharp maintenance individuals working on these, and we're fortunate to have that at the building here. So that's what we have. But overall, just looking around at the overall condition, the machine room floors, they're not painted. That's not part of the maintenance contract. It's part of a modernization. We're looking to bring all this stuff up to code and make it look nice. For a building like this, we're looking stuff to be performed in a first-class manner. So you're going to see the difference between here and a freshly modernized elevator. If we take a look up at the ceiling, really we don't have any fire rating or fire protection in here, which will have to be brought up to code during the next mod. But really everything is just dingy and dark and just not an easy place to work in something like that. But really what I want to show you is we take a look over here at our gearless traction machines. These are also original from the late 1920s. The one thing that you're going to notice is a major difference between this machine and this machine, and it is a known issue with these machines, is they have what's called hollow shafts in it. So if you swing over here, we'll look at this one first. So if you look at the very end cap and kind of peek down in here, there's going to be a shaft that goes all the way through the machine. And from the manufacturer, from Otis, they were actually hollow shafts. It wasn't one, I guess, steel bars, what I would call it, that went through the full length of the machine. They are susceptible to cracking. When these were done in 1999, I'm not sure if that was known information at the time, but that's something that certainly needs to be analyzed. So if we end up getting a crack in one, there is a repair for it, and you can actually see the repair on this one, which was very expensive to do. But you can see the threads on this end. There's a nut on this end. If you look on the other end, it's basically one large bolt. If you can swing over here and take a look. That goes through the entire center of the machine. And really, it's called bolt-in machine is what it's called. So that's what we have for the machine. But when we start getting into repairs, in lieu of doing a modernization, that's when things get very expensive. Labor gets very expensive to do this. Markups from the elevator companies get astronomical. It's not unusual to see stuff at 50%, 100%. We're north of that. Typically, if you get a consultant like us involved, we can at least let you get closer to a fair market price, because we know what the pricing is on this type of work and how much time it's going to take to actually perform this work. So it really poses the question, should I modernize an elevator? Should I do a repair to an elevator? And really it comes down to capital. So a lot of the hoistway work that was done or not done during the modernization, I'm pretty sure that was omitted. So you got a lot of older equipment on stuff that's constantly moving. So really what we're trying to get at, if you're going to modernize an elevator, the goal is to get everything on the same life cycle. We really want to have the capital planned ahead of time to make sure we can do everything at once. So if we do what we did here, where we've got controllers and then machines with known issues to it, we're really opening ourselves up for major costs. This elevator is currently out of service right now. So there's major costs involved with these repairs. Your normal markups and margins that you see during repairs, you typically don't see that during the modernization process. That number is much smaller than what I just described. So if we can plan ahead for that, Really, that's the goal with it. So you're going to hear a lot of companies bring up repairs or replacements. That's really not considered a modernization. A modernization is going to be everything across the board. Let's get everything on the same life cycle. And that way we don't run into elevators that are shut down, elevators running with known issues. It's very difficult for the maintenance personnel to keep up with all the maintenance on these because we're dealing with equipment that's 100 years old. They've got more units on the route than just 6 elevators here, 8 elevators here. So that's also something to consider. So if you're not quite sure what you want to do for a modernization, or if you should be moving forward with repairs, you're getting them from the offices of your elevator service providers, reach out to us. We're happy to help you. This is what we do. This stuff is very common for us to walk into situations like this. Equipment that's 100 years old, some of it can be reused, some of it should not. This is one of the cases where it should not, just because of the, I wouldn't call it a defect, but it would be a weakness with these machines. So it's something to consider. So calling in a company like ours, we can certainly help walk you through that process, lay out the pros and cons of each. We could certainly go through pricing with you, let you know what we anticipate a modernization cost to be versus a repair if you're going to do repairs. But we can walk you through that strategy. So really, that's what we have up here. I do want to show you guys what a fresh modernization looks like. The company that did the modernization here did an excellent job. We're actually here to punch out the job for them. Obviously, this is not it. We're going to go look at the high-rise machine room, take a look at that. And it's really, literally going to be a night and day difference. Everything's bright, everything's painted, all the wiring's installed in a first-class manner, which I did not show you. We'll take a quick look over here. If you can imagine being the maintenance guy that has to go through and troubleshoot and diagnosis, I would not want to be that guy. So part of the process that we run through for a modernization, everything's got to be done in a first-class manner. So obviously this got some age on it, but you'll see the major difference between something like this that was modernized in 1999 and something that was just turned over at the end of 2025, and really it's under warranty now in 2026. So we'll go upstairs, we'll take a look at that, we'll show you the differences between them. It'll be pretty evident right off the bat. So we're actually up at the next machine room here. This is the 2 elevators that were just modernized. So for part of the modernization process, everything has got to be code compliant. I don't think we got a good view of the machine room door going into the last machine room. But this one, you're going to notice that the frame is brand new, the door is brand new. We've got our UL rating here on the door, letting us know that it's fire rated. Everything's labeled. This does have a door closer to it, which is also code required, but we swing over on this side. You can see everything is still taped off up there. This is all brand new, but it's all going to be connected. But this is very, very minor stuff for us to take care of. But really, the overall, I'm just kind of walking through stuff that I'm seeing, but really the overall goal is I want to show you guys the differences between an older, incomplete modernization with really major repairs that were done. That's what we had seen in the last machine room versus a complete modernization, which is going to be this machine room. So we'll go ahead and shot this. But we've got 2 elevators up here. This is our high-rise passenger cars. But right away, just the overall image of everything. Everything is in excellent condition. All the floors are painted. All the edges are painted bright colors. So hey, there's a step here. Don't trip and fall. All the lighting has been replaced. There's really no shadows anywhere here in the machine room to speak of. So it's a much safer environment for the mechanics and the technicians to work on. So here's our control system. This is from a company called MCE. It's not proprietary. So really any elevator company in here that's qualified, they're able to come in and work on this equipment. There are proprietary vendors out there, and there's a time and place for that. But you should also know the pros and cons of each before you move through. But really what we wanted to show you is the overall wiring inside the control cabinet. The last one that we had seen from Swift Futura, there's just wiring everywhere. And we actually had a chance to talk to the maintenance technician, and he said, yes, it's an absolute nightmare to go through and troubleshoot anything that's in there. And this is not the only building that's on his route. He gets other callbacks and entrapments. He may not have the time needed to troubleshoot it. So if you're a building that's running into long trouble calls, elevators are out of service for an extended period of time, it may not just be the technician that's on site. Maybe they don't have the experience, or even if they do have the experience, perhaps the wiring and the overall condition of the equipment is going to be a major hindrance for them to actually go through and troubleshoot. So everything in here, pretty nicely wired, everything's clean, neat, tidy. Everything in here is microprocessors. Up here behind the number 8 on top, that's going to be our resistor cabinet. We're not going to take a look inside there today, but really I just want to show you what a modernization looks like. So part of this mod, obviously we did control systems. Over here in the back we're going to see machines. These are from a company called Imperial. These are gear extraction machines. Unfortunately we don't have the geared machines in here to show you the difference between them, but brand new. So these are items that we wanted to replace. As you saw in the last machine room, during the last modernization, they retained some original Otis machines with known issues. And unfortunately that's kind of stuck its ugly head up and required some major repairs. So if we're going down the repair route, just keep in mind we're going to get stuff like that because really stuff is running past its life cycle. We don't know if those machines actually had the proper testing that was done. We don't know if they were refurbished during the modernization. We don't know any of that. We don't have any paperwork and documents on it. So for all intents and purposes, those are running past their life cycle, and we're going to run into repairs. When we look at something like this, controllers, machines, we're going to take a look at the secondary here real quick. Everything is on the same life cycle. When you look at all the equipment we're seeing inside the hoistway, the door operators, all their hoistway door equipment, all the pit equipment, your tail shifts, safeties, stuff in the car bottoms, all that has been gone through. So everything's on the same life cycle. We should not be running into major repairs in the next 5 or 10 years. And overall, we're looking to get at least 25 years out of this equipment. But we'll take a walk down here. Obviously, we got our disconnect panel here. Here's our access panel to get larger equipment down into the secondary. But over here, we got this blocked off for safety, but we'll take a walk down here and we'll show you what the secondary looks like. But the service provider did a really nice job. They painted everything. I have not been down here yet since they've done the modernization, but we got our light switch here. Lighting is actually pretty good. I don't even need my flashlight. I thought I would. They did put an extension on the ladder. You can see where the old one came in just to make it much safer to get access down there. Maybe we'll do a handoff of the video here for a second. So you can actually hear me. But if we take a look around here, you'll notice that we got cable guards here for the cables going through the machine room floor, which is a code requirement. If we take a look up here, I'll take a knee down here so you can see it. So this is what we call a deflector shiv, and this is actually double wrapped. You can see on this side, you've got 6 cables. On the other side, you got 12. There's actually 6 cables on this system. They're just wrapped twice around the shiv to create more traction. But anyhow, so that's what we have for deflector shiv. This is all brand new equipment. A lot of times ancillary equipment. I call it ancillary, but really not a major component of the machine. These typically get retained during incomplete modernizations, and they can become a real pain in the butt to maintain and keep up with maintenance. Typically they're covered in oil, there's grease all over them. That typically tends to get onto your traction cables, affects wear on the traction cables. They may fail sooner, and that's going to require more repairs versus doing everything up front ahead of time and getting the proper life out of the equipment. Down here, this is our governor system. You'll see the other end of this down in the pit when we take a look at the pit. But this is our governor cables. On the very bottom, we have what's called a tail shiv, and that's really what keeps proper tension here on our governor cables. So, really nice job with this work that was done here. Let's make sure I don't hit my head. And then over here you can see we got the same exact thing on car 8. Then obviously we've got unit strut that's up here. You can tell all this stuff is brand new from the pipes. This is one of the access floors to get equipment in and out of the machine room. But safety was thought of, on top of this. Everything's clean, everything's neat, tidy, everything's well lit. So you can imagine if you have any kind of mechanical aptitude, would you rather come into a machine room like this and work on this equipment, or would you rather go to the last machine room and try to work on something that's had some repairs done along the way, stuff was incomplete. So you can imagine the amount of time that would get spent troubleshooting that machine room versus this one. You can imagine the costs involved with those repairs versus everything that was done with the mod. So really, the only thing that we should be paying for with these 2 elevators is going to be maintenance, preventative maintenance. Having the right contract in place, ensuring you get the maintenance hours is very important. You've made a very significant investment with the building, but you certainly want that to take part. So overall, this is what we have here, but we're going to show you guys what stuff looks like here in the hoistway. We'll look at the car tops, we'll look at the pits. We're actually going to run some ride quality tests. We'll show you what that looks like. We're going to walk you through that. That's all involved with our modernization process. Anytime you have a repair done, those pieces are not involved. It's specifically for one component. They replace it, that's it. That crew's moving on to the next job. So that's what we have here.